Hello children, let us begin with the chapter Long and Short. The shorter line. Akbar was a famous king. He had a smart minister called Birbal. Once Akbar gave him a difficult question. He drew a line on the floor. Birbal, here is a line. Make it shorter without erasing. So children, what did Birbal do? He drew a bigger line. Now your line is shorter. Look at the picture and explain how Birbal made Akbar's line shorter. Now, can you be as smart as Birbal? Make this line shorter without erasing it. Just think, is there any longest line? No children, we cannot have the longest line because there is always a possibility to draw a longer line than that. Now try this children. Make her arm 1 centimeter longer than the left arm. Use your scale for this and it will look something like this. Draw a cup 1 centimeter shorter than this cup. When you will draw it, it would look like this. Draw a broom half as long as this broom. So children measure and then draw. Draw another hair of double the length. Draw it. Measure the length of his hair and then draw another hair of double the length. How tall have you grown? Do you remember that in class 3 you measured your height? Do you think you have grown taller? How much? Children, so measure your height and write down by how much centimeters you have grown taller. Have your friends also grown taller? Try to ask them. Find out and fill in the table. Write your friend's name, his height last year, this year's height also you have to write, and then you will subtract and find out the difference, which will tell you how many centimeters they have grown. Jhumpa once read a list of the tallest people in the world. One of them was 272 centimeter tall. This is just double of Jhumpa's height. How tall is Jhumpa? So children, it is told that the person who is 272 is double the height of Jhumpa. So if we have to calculate Jhumpa's height, then we need to divide 272 by 2 and it will be 136. Thus, Jhumpa is 136 centimeters tall. Could that person pass through the door of your classroom without bending? For this, you have to measure the door of your classroom. If it is less than 272, then the person needs to bend to enter the classroom. Will his head touch the roof of your house if he stands straight? So if your house has a roof that is more than 272 centimeters, then the head of the person will not touch the roof. Who is the tallest in your family? Write down the height of that person. Who is the shortest in your family? Write down the height of that person also. What is the difference between their heights? So children, here you need to subtract and write down the difference. Inter-school sports meet. This is a 100-meter race for girls. Arundhati is nearest the finishing line. Children, look at the picture. She is about 6 meters from it. Behind her is Rehana. Konkana and Uma are running behind Rehana. Look at the picture to answer the questions below. Choose from these distances. So children, we have to choose from these distances 3 meters, 6 meters, 10 meters and 15 meters. How far is Rehana from Arundhati? So children, Arundhati is the girl who is leading and is just 6 meters from the finishing line and Rihanna is behind Arundhati. We see that distance between Rihanna and Arundhati is smaller than the distance between Rihanna from Konkana and Uma. So the distance between Rihanna and Arundhati is 3 meters. How far ahead is Rihanna from Konkana and Uma? So children, from the picture we can make out that the distance is more. Uma is double the distance between Rihanna and Arundhati. Thus, Rihanna is 6 meters ahead of Konkana and Uma. How far are Konkana and Uma from the finishing line? So children, here we have seen that Arundhati is 6 meters from the finishing line. Rihanna is 3 meters from Arundhati and Konkana and Uma are 6 meters. So we will need to add them. When we add 6 meters, 3 meters and 6 meters, we will get 15 meters. Thus, Konkana and Uma are 15 meters far away from the finishing line. Have you heard about a 1500 meter or a 3000 meter race? Children, you remember 1000 meters is equal to 1 kilometer and 500 meters is equal to half a kilometer. So you can say in a 1500 meter race, people run 1000 kilometers make 1 kilometer and 500 meters make half a kilometer. So it would be 1.5 kilometer. In a 3000 meter race, people run 3 kilometers. Have you heard about marathon races in which people have to run about 40 kilometers? People run marathon on roads because the track of a stadium is only 400 meters. So children, 10 rounds of a stadium will make how many kilometers? So we know 1000 meter is equal to 1 kilometer and length of a stadium is 400 meter. So distance covered in one round would be 400 meters and we need to find distance covered in 10 rounds. So we need to multiply. 400 into 10 will be 4000 meter. Now we have to find the answer in kilometers. So we will divide 4000 meters with 1000 and we will get 4 kilometers. So 10 rounds of a stadium track will make 4 kilometers. So if you run a marathon on a stadium track, you will have to complete dash rounds. So children, we know total length of a marathon race is 40 kilometers, which means 40,000 meters when we multiply 40 with 1000. And distance covered in one round of a stadium is 400 meters. So when we need to find out number of rounds, we will have to divide 40,000 with 400 and we will get 100. So if you run a marathon on a stadium track, you will have to complete 100 rounds. Isn't it interesting? Children, I hope you have learnt this part of the lesson well. Happy learning!